Well, the bad economy is forcing people to become more frugal. Author Jeff Yeager can help them make it happen. As Mark Martin reports, he calls himself the, quote, ultimate cheapskate.
Sure, you can afford to spend more, but it won't make you ultimately feel better. So says author and self-proclaimed cheapskate Jeff Yeager. From appearances on primetime TV to articles in top men's magazines, this penny pincher is single-handedly transforming the word cheapskate from a dirty word into a hip new trend. In his new book, The Cheapskate Next Door, Yeager shows readers how to live happily below their means. He's traveled across the country and interviewed thousands of people who share his desire to spend less. In his book, Yeager documents common characteristics and practical tips from thousands of frugal Americans, from how to eliminate college tuition expenses to how to save on your next widescreen TV. The Cheapskate Next Door features hundreds of tips that could save you more than $25,000 in a single year. Yeager says any American can weather the recession and live happily on less, just like the Cheapskate Next Door.
Well, the ultimate cheapskate, he's written a book. Very interesting. The Cheapskate Next Door. It's a paperback. You can get it where books are sold. And Jeff Yeager's joining us now from Washington. Jeff, you traveled across the country gathering money-saving advice from fellow cheapskates. What did you learn? What are the big principles?
I did, and thanks for having me on, Pat. Summertime and the living is cheap and easy, as I like to say. I discovered a lot of interesting things. These are people with a wide range of income. Some are true millionaires. Others had such a limited income that they could afford to qualify for public assistance, but they chose not to because they said, we know some secrets for stretching our dollars, and we're happier living within our means.
Give us some secrets. I think the big thing that people spend money on is a house, second car, third, well, you name it.
Sure, and right on down the line, to begin with, cheapskates prefer to buy used, not abused, everything from cars to computers to clothing. They like to let the other guy pay the depreciation. When you talk about housing, which of course for most Americans is their single largest expense, of the cheapskates I surveyed, they would go to the bank, figure out how much they could borrow, what's that maximum amount of their loan, but they would only go shopping for a house that cost 75% of that. They were bucking these trends, which have gotten, unfortunately, so many Americans in trouble. But, the bottom line is it's not about sacrifice. These people are happier because of it. They're largely living debt-free. They claim overwhelmingly that they think and worry about money less than non-cheapskates they know.
How does a cheapskate bargain for a house? How do you get a good deal on a house?
Well, of course, right now it's very much a buyer's market. And again, what these people are doing is something that unfortunately has become very unpopular in America. They're buying less house than they can qualify for. They're staying in their houses longer, and they're paying off their mortgages earlier than required. And, they've been doing this for a good many years, which is one reason why, again, unfortunately, so many Americans find themselves in a house that they truly can't afford, not the cheapskates next door. And how does alleviating that stress of being mortgage-free, how is that about sacrifice? Again, these people are happier because of their choice to live more frugally.
Well, is there some things so cheap even you won't go there?
Oh, I tell in my book some bizarre stories of people who, cheapskate behavior. The one woman, dear old woman, who told me that she details the inside of her car with her used Q-tips because they have just the right amount of wax on them.
You've got to be kidding. Please tell me you're kidding.
Pat, unfortunately, she didn't tell me that till she was giving me a ride somewhere.
Well, I hope she doesn't give you your Q-tips after she finishes detailing, because here's one for your ears.
But, those are bizarre stories, and I like to write with a sense of humor. I don't write books about how to get rich. I write books about how to get happy, perhaps how to get happy with things you already have. There's that old saying, people who have the best of everything aren't necessarily the happiest. It's people who know how to get the best out of what they already have.
Well, as a cheapskate, do you ever splurge?
Yeah, I asked the question in my survey, do you ever splurge? And overwhelming response of the cheapskates was, you betcha. We sure do, but we do it selectively. We make sure it's something that we actually want. We usually save up enough money in advance that we can afford it and sort of have it be guilty-free pleasure. And third, they tend to splurge more on activities, maybe a vacation with the family, than on the big screen TV, than on a material object that's going to disappoint them.
You mentioned saving $25,000 a year. Give us 3 or 4 salient points about how you'd go do that.
Yeah, and again, it all applies to your lifestyle. Here's a shocker. If you want to reduce your food bill by 25%, according to the USDA, the average American family throws away 25% of the food that they buy. So by being smarter about portion control and storage, and I talk a lot about the particulars of that in the book, you could arguably reduce your food bill by 25%. Here's one we don't think about. The cheapskates like to drive older model used cars, specifically manual transmissions as opposed to automatics. Yeah. Manuals get better gas mileage, they cost less, and they cost less to repair. Do that for over the course of your driving lifetime, and you'd save $30,000. I mean, that's a nice start on a child's college fund. The average American family could save $800 a year simply by drinking tap water when they go out to eat. I'm not saying don't go out to eat, although I think a lot of American families would be better off if they prepared more meals at home. But just by skipping the coffee or the soda pop, you'd save $800 a year.
At 800, that's a month, or that's 800 a year.
800 a year by simply drinking tap water when your family goes out to eat, rather than ordering a soda or a cup of coffee.
Times 10. Do you tell people where to invest money, that they want to have money earning something?
You know, I come out of a nonprofit background. I spent my whole career managing nonprofit organizations. I write almost entirely about the spending side of wealth and happiness, not so much on the investing side. Most personal finance books are all about how to make some more money, and I don't write about that. I write about how to perhaps be happier with what you already have, and part of that is stretching your resources, sure, not wasting.
Well, that's certainly biblical. Be content with what you have. Having food and raiment, let us be content. That's Bible.
And, you know, I would add, too, I asked in my survey about what people's motivation was for living more frugally, and the vast majority, over 90%, said, you know, Pat, it's not about the money at all. It's about a bigger belief in life. And about half those people expressed strong religious convictions and said, you know, my religion tells me not that money is bad, but there's something more to life than amassing money and stuff. Yeah. By the other way, the other half of the people didn't have particularly strong religious beliefs, but for environmental reasons or other ethical reasons, they said, you know, money and stuff isn't the be-all, end-all. I can be happy with less.
Well, you're right on. Jeff Yeager, ladies and gentlemen, is called The Cheapskate Next Door, The Surprising Secrets of Americans Living Happily Below Their Means. And you can get a copy. Jeff, it is sold bookstores, Amazon?
Sure, and it's also widely available at libraries, so pick up a copy there.
All right. Well, cheapskate, you don't have to buy his book, you see. I don't want to do that to you.
Better buy the book if you want more from him.
Right. Well, we also, yes.
Stay cheap, fellows, stay cheap.
Stay cheap. Well, we have a fact sheet for you. It's online. It's called Secrets of a Happy Cheapskate. To download your free copy, just go to cbn.com.